Hello and welcome to today's Alteryx training. I am Fagbami Kehinde, a data scientist at Syndro, and today we'll be looking at the preparation tool in Alteryx. And for today we'll be looking at the sample tool in Alteryx and how to use the sample tool in Alteryx. Okay, so the sample tool basically is used to limit the data stream to a specified number. So for example, you just want 7 records out of all the records you have in your workflow, right? You can actually use the sample to achieve this, and you can also have like a specified number or a percentage or a random set of rows returned. So for example, you have 100 records, right? You can configure your sample tool to just give you the first 10 records or give you the last 10 records. So we're going to be looking at how to use the sample tool in Alteryx and see how to use that to achieve a particular result. Okay, so let's move to Alteryx and see how to use the sample tool. Okay, so this sample tool, I'm just going to bring in a file in here to test how to use the sample tool, and then I'm just going to come to the input and output tool palettes, drag in the input data. Let me make this a little bit, and then I'm just going to import a data here, just a sample data. You can import any data of your choice to use this tool. Okay, I'm just going to drag in the browse tool so I can see the results of my workflow. So this is basically my workflow, contains just the input and the input data tool and the browse tool, right? So to add my sample tool, you have to come to the preparation tool palette, and then you have to look for it. So this is the sample tool, and just in case you can't find the sample tool here, you come to this icon and click on this icon, and then click the preparation tool palette, and then in the preparation tool palette you have to search for the particular tool you're looking for, and you can see this is checked. Just in case this is not checked on your end, you can just check this and then click on OK. Alright, so we're just going to drag in this sample tool in here, and before we do that, you can see we have just about 90 records, and we have 14 fields or colon, right? So we're going to drag in the sample tool, and then we're going to say want it to return the first, let's say first 5 records, for example. Okay, and then I'll click on run. Okay, let's see the output of the browse tool. So you can see now we haven't want just the first 5 records. So if you check here, right, you can see that this is the records being sent to our output, because we chose here that output the first n record, and n here is what is equal to 5, right? So if you want to see the last n record, so let's check, for example, here, and let's see the last records towards the last n. So you can see, for example, so if you want to select just the last 2 records, you can see this is Peggy and Maria, right? So you can actually just use that to as a test to confirm. So let's say the last 2, right, instead of 5, and then let's run this and let's check the browse tool, and then you can see Peggy and Mara, right? You can see that we have what, just the last 2, because that's what was specified in the configuration of the sample tool. Okay, so for this place, if you say skip first n row, so for example, you do not want this particular row, so maybe you do not want the first 3 rows, right? Sorry, so maybe you don't want the first 3 rows. You can just come here and then click on what, skip this, and then just click on 3, and then we just run this. When we run this and we check the browse tool, oh okay, let me see, skip first 3 row, exactly. So you can see here that skipped what's the first 3 rows. So if you confirm from the input data tool, you can see, right, that the 3 first rows has been skipped, and then you can see here, right? So that's actually one of the configurations of the sample 2, and if you're saying first one of every n row, so that means, for example, if you have 10 records and you're saying you want you want one of every 10 records. So that means so if you have like let's say 10 records and then you say one of every 2 records, that means it's going to take one out of every 2 record occurrence. So let's try and do that and see. So for example, if I change this to 2, for example, right, we have I think 90 records from our input data tool, and then here we are saying we just want to choose one of every n record. So if we run this, or you can just click on Ctrl R or Command R if you use Alteryx Mac. So you can see here, so it's going to take 1 and then skip the next one and then come to 3 and then skip the next one and come to 5. So you can see, so if I come here and change this now, say I want the first 5, one of every 5 rows, and I run this, okay, you can see here it's taking 1 and then skips the next 5 and then takes 6, skips the next 5 and then takes what, 11. Okay, so this 1 in n chance to include each row, it's one of the configuration I would not advise because it's actually not certain on what it's doing. So this is like an approximation, so it's taking your n as an approximation. And if you click on that and let's run this, and you see what I'm trying to say. So you can see 1, 2, so it's just randomly taking your approximation, taking this value as an approximation, and then you can see 1 in n chance to include each row. So that means 1 in every 5 chance. So that means like if you have, so on a norm it should be like from 1 to 5 there should be like a 1 possibility. So there should be a possibility that one of the records should be included between 1 to 5, right? But then you can see this does not follow the rule because, like I said, it's approximates this thing and it randomly chooses this, right? So for the first n% of row, okay, so here we are saying take the first, let's say 1%, right? First 1% of rows. So if we click on this, remember we have 90 rows and this should return what? Just so you can see here, first 1%. So you look at this, so first 1% of rows. Okay, so if we look at this and then try to change this from, let's say 10, okay, and then run this, so you can see we have what, we have 9 because first, so you can see first n%, right? So that's first 10% of 90 rows. I think we have 90 rows here. Okay, yeah, cool. So you can see first 10% of the rows. Okay, so and that's why we're having that here. Okay, so also the group by column, right? So for every of this configuration you can actually use the group by column to achieve what you want to do. So for example, the city right now, we have a couple of different cities in here, and then so to just confirm that, I can just drag in the unique tool to see the cities I have. So I can just drag in the unique tool and then come here. So I can see city, and then I run this to be sure of the unique cities I have. So you can see the cities I have, right? So I have you can see I have about 12 unique cities. Okay, so I just use that to check for the unique cities that we have in this data set. And then if you look at this sample tool, right, so I'm just going to delete this. Okay, so if you look at the sample tool, and then for example, if I pick city and I say first, let me say 2, right? let me say 2, right? So if I pick first 2, right? So you see what is happening, right? It's taking the top 2 for each city. So you can see this is what Avada, right? And then you can see that it's taking the first 2 for each city. Okay, you can see for Parker it's taking the first 2, right? For Parker it's taking the first 2 and the like. So that's basically how to configure the sample tool in Alteryx. And I hope you had a nice time watching this video. Please like this video and subscribe to this channel. See you next time.